Hello, this is Frank with Christenson Transportation, and I'm coming to you today with February's winter driving tip. I call this Know Before You Go. I've had lots of people and lots of drivers ask me how I plan my day, and so I'm going to go through what I do on a regular basis and planning my day and dealing with the weather in the winter in Wyoming and Montana and Idaho. First thing I do is when I get my dispatch, I accept the load and then I write it down on my yellow tablet and I keep all of my expenses for this trip on this page of this yellow tablet. Once I see where I'm going, like this week, I'm going from Bolingbrook, Illinois to Billings, Montana, and then down to Boise, Idaho. So what I do next is, yes, I have an atlas. I open my atlas up, I look at the routes, and I pick two routes, a primary and an alternate. Once I decide which way I'm going, I get onto my Weather Channel app, and I put cities along the way into the Weather Channel app, and look at the 5 to 7 day forecast to see, if there's any surprises, any weather coming in. Once I get all that done, I decide on the primary route and the secondary route. I take my primary route and I get onto the state's 511 system, whether it be Montana, North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Idaho. I get onto those state 511 apps, or YO roads for Wyoming, and I see what their roads are like and what's going on at the current time. This is really important, especially if you run up in the Northeast, because Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut will put various restrictions on commercial vehicles before, during, and after the storm. And why this is something you all need to know is because if you're 5 or 6 hours out from, let's say, Pennsylvania or New York or New Jersey, Connecticut, and they've already had a restriction, no commercial vehicles on the road because the storm is here or it's on its way, you don't want to drive up to that point and then try to find parking. It's already difficult enough to find parking on a good day, but trying to find parking after the state has had a restriction on commercial vehicles for 6-7 hours, it's just going to be a nightmare. You don't want to get caught out in those situations, because if anything happens to you, to the equipment, to you getting a wreck, that puts the liability back on you and Christenson, and we don't want that. That's a bad thing. So that's why you got to communicate those problems with your fleet manager before they become a problem. Once I do that, I get on my CB radio and I listen to the NOAA weather radio system. And they give a regional report. They give a 2 to 5 day forecast report on hazardous weather, the chances of that happening. They give the state you're in, plus the regional report of the area around you and the temperatures and what's going on. And that's a very good tool to have. And like I've said before, everybody should have one in their truck because it's got me out of a lot of trouble. Once all that is done, I pick up the load and I start my day. And then I do check with my NOAA weather radio periodically throughout the day. When I end my day, I get back on my Weather Channel app and just pull up the 5 to 7 day forecast to see what, if anything's changed, or do I need to deviate, or am I good to go, or is there a wind event coming, or a snowstorm, or something that wasn't expected. And then I can make a call to my fleet manager and explain to them, hey, we're going to go down south 100 miles or come back up north 100 miles to get around the bad part of the storm. You got to communicate that with your fleet manager. Also, what I call comfort zone, my comfort zone and someone else's comfort zone driving into adverse weather conditions is totally different. I look at whether the wind's a headwind, a tailwind, if it's going to be pushing me on the side, north, south. I put all that into an equation and I figure up, okay, yes, I can go, or no, I cannot. If you're out of your comfort zone, it is really important for you as a professional driver to pull over. Don't be afraid to make that call. Call your fleet manager and tell them, hey, I am beyond my comfort zone and I will be going when the weather breaks. We'll be moving the load down the road when the weather breaks. That call is so much easier to make than the call of, that $140,000 truck I'm driving and that $35,000 trailer I'm pulling and up to $1 million plus in cargo in the back. Well, guess what? We're all upside down and it's scattered all over the highway. You don't want to make that call. And that's where it comes down to know before you go. It's very important during the winter season that you do know before you go. Plan your trip, plan your day, plan your week. And if you see any issues coming up that you're unable to handle or you don't think it's going to be a good situation, pick up the phone, call your fleet manager, and communicate. Communication is the key to the game. You get the communication down, you will be successful here at Christenson Transportation. Look, y'all, stay safe. We have about 2.5 more months of winter in most places. Stay safe, get home to your loved ones safely, and we will see you in March.